Hi, Wheatland family. Thanks so much for your prayers for me and Terry Lynn this past week. We are safely back from the UK and had a wonderful time at my graduation ceremony at the University of Chester in England. I wanted to reach out to you all today and connect, even if it is via video, to let you know that you and your families are in my thoughts and prayers. These are unprecedented and anxious days, and I want you to know that I, your session, our pastoral staff, are mourning with you at this global pandemic. And we are grieving the loss of our ability to gather together for worship as a church family. You're being inundated with information right now. And I want to remind and encourage you this afternoon to take time every day to close your internet browser, turn off all the news sources that you follow, and spend some time in quiet prayer and in reading the scriptures. I know this sounds basic, I know it sounds elementary, but often in the days of fear and uncertainty, it is these very basic things that we have to remind ourselves to do, the things that we thought were second nature. Sometimes we may even need to be reminded to simply breathe. This quietness and seeking to hear God speak in prayer and in reading the scriptures is the very thing that I myself in these last few days have had to fight hard for as I've been seeking to keep up with this rapidly changing situation. I also want you to know that we as a session, as your church staff, are working very hard to bring some measure of church family connection to the upheaval and the isolation that we're all experiencing because of the COVID-19 pandemic. One of the ways that we talk about our life together as a church family here at Wheatland is our commitment to holding together faithfulness to God's word and compassion for our neighbors. And I want you to know that we have not lost sight of these two things. We will continue to be faithful to God's word and our calling as the church, and we will continue to be compassionate to each other and to our neighbor. One immediate way that we'll begin seeking to do both of these things is that beginning this Sunday at 10:45 a.m., Keith and I, along with a few musicians and of course a few audio and visual geniuses, will live stream our corporate worship service that will be broadcast from our sanctuary just across the yard here. And it will be hosted live on Wheatland's YouTube page. Later this week, we'll send out a church-wide email that includes a link for joining the service. And in that email, we'll also include a PDF file of the order of service. Please gather your family and join us as we together joyfully worship the one to whom we belong, the only one who is our comfort in life and in the very face of death itself. If you are fearful and anxious, if you are struggling emotionally or financially, please reach out to me or Keith or your elders or a deacon. We long to walk with you through these challenging days. Your generosity, I want you to know, means that our church family is blessed to be in a good financial situation as we enter these uncertain days. Some of you may already be facing dire financial repercussions because of the loss of work or some other economic hardship. Please reach out so we can work with you and work with our deacons to meet these challenges that you're facing. And if you're still able to give, please remember to do so faithfully. You probably will not pass a plate around your living room on Sunday at our live stream service. But if you've not signed up for electronic giving, now may be a good time to strongly consider that. You just send an email to office@wheatlandpca.org and we can walk you through that process. But either way, I want to remind you that your generosity is needed now more than ever, perhaps, as we anticipate greater needs that are coming in the days ahead. I want to leave you with God's word to you this afternoon from Psalm 46. I know that this is probably a very familiar psalm to many of you. Many of you probably have whole phrases of it memorized and maybe can say the whole thing along with me. But right now I want you to quiet your heart, and I want us all to hear it together as our comfort and actually as our work together over the next few days. Psalm 46. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore, we will not fear. Therefore, we will not fear, though the earth gives way, though the mountains be moved into the heart of the sea, though its waters roar and foam, though the mountains tremble at its swelling. There is a river whose streams make glad the city of God, the holy habitation of the Most High. God is in the midst of her. She shall not be moved. God will help her when morning dawns. The nations rage. The kingdoms totter. He utters his voice. The earth melts. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress. Come, behold the works of the Lord, how he has brought desolations on the earth. He makes wars to cease to the end of the earth. He breaks the bow and shatters the spear. He burns the chariots with fire. Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress. Wheatland family, we will be faithful to God's word and our calling. We will be compassionate to one another and to our neighbor. And we will not fear. Individually, we already have had, probably some of us, and in the coming days, will most likely experience great moments of fear. But remember, together, as God's church, we will not fear, because the Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress. Wheatland, we are God's people. Together, let's wait and hope in him. I am already eager to join you in worship this Sunday.